get a big screen. That's the problem, but never mind.
That's us live. Hi, Jennifer. It's lovely to meet you. When we met, oh my goodness, I think we probably met about a year ago. You told me you did EFT. My journey with EFT was very, very limited. It was Jack Black. I don't even, it was a Scottish person who does motivational speaking. And I was inhibited because I went into a room and there was all these people doing happy birthday to you. And that was it. I never went back to it. My journey with health has been over the last 13 years, and that's why this group started, and it's called It's All About You. And the strange thing is, when I just said to you there, Jennifer, tell me about you, it was the very first thing you said. So tell me about you, tell me your journey, tell me what led you to EFT and where you're at just now.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure, and I think we definitely have so much in common. My journey started, well, when I was born, obviously, when I was actually adopted at 6 weeks old. And although I wouldn't have known mentally, I definitely knew physically that I'd been sort of wrenched away from my mother and given to somebody who I've no idea about. So that was probably why I started looking into my life when I was older, because so many things had I didn't understand so much. Why was I in this loving, wonderful family? And I mean, wonderful parents who adored me. And yet I had this kind of sadness, this deep sadness. So that's really when my journey started without me knowing. But when I had my second child at 35, which in those days was old, I almost lost my life. And I have a funny feeling I thought my birth mother, had died in childbirth, and I think I was somehow unconsciously emulating that.
Oh, really?
Thankfully, I survived, but was very ill for over 18 months. And that's really when my journey started. I was so confused within, not entirely, but just something was not right.
Well, there's a girl in this group actually called Lee, and I'm actually going to put you in touch with her because at the retreat we were at, she shared something about this. And she was talking about detachment and also even like traumatic birth, you know, having an epidural, having a C-section and how that can impact a child. So I have no idea, but it may be worth Lee actually chatting to you. So tell me, did you meet your parents then? What did
Well, I think the first thing that happened before that happened was that I went on a journey and I started doing a counselling course. But of course, when you're on a counselling course, you have to go into therapy. So in a way, it was exactly what I needed. And I did 4 years of that. And I really got to begin to understand why we feel the way we do and how we react to things and stop blaming everybody else and take responsibility.
Okay,
So that's really when my journey started. It's all about me trying to understand myself, and I've always been really interested in finding things out. Bit of a detective, I suppose, but so the counselling course started me on my journey.
Oh, amazing. What star sign are you incidentally?
Cancerian, July.
July, right. Okay, I'm just wondering because there are some spiritual people in here, they'll maybe pick something up there. It's always interesting, isn't it? I'm a Capricorn. I do think I have those traits, so it's always interesting. So then when you finished the counselling, where did you go from there? How did your journey go?
Well, I got I was very lucky. I got a job that I loved. In fact, I only see it as work when I've got to love what I do. I can't do anything I don't love. So I did 10 years with career counsellors and helped people that were being made redundant all across the country in mental institutions, banks, all sorts of companies that were making people redundant, and I was helping those people. So that was a really interesting time for me. And you are counselling people, you are listening, you're trying to help. You're not trying to solve anything. You can't solve anything. That's one thing I've learned. I cannot solve other people's problems. Yeah. I can shed some light, open it up, and then it's up to them what they do with it.
Yeah, that's why I love talking therapy. And I always say this to people, do you know, people say, you know, you're really interesting, but you haven't actually spoken. You've got 2 ears and one mouth. Just listen. The most interesting, you know, people just, if you listen to somebody, you can make a difference to their life.
Well, I mean, when were we ever heard unconditionally? I
Yeah,
don't think that's ever happened to any of us, because mums like me and other people who got parents and things like, you know, we're always doing. We're not sitting down with the time and say, okay, this time's for you and I'm all yours. And
yeah,
I'm not going to criticize you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm going to listen. And then together we can work on what you would like and how you would like to go forward if you're ready.
yeah.
That's a gift that's worth, it's priceless.
Yeah. So maybe as mums, actually, we should also take a bit of, well, again, we've talked about this part because we need to put our own oxygen mask on. And if we don't put our own oxygen mask on, we couldn't do that anyway. So if we all take a bit of, it's all about you, put your own oxygen mask on, then if you have energy, you would be able to do these things. But I think that's what it is. Everybody's frazzled just now. Everybody's so busy. Social media is so noisy. And maybe people are not concentrating on the right things. That was one of my posts today, actually. So then they don't have the energy to, and we were talking about energy today. So tell me where your journey went from there.
So I did I did some Reiki healing because I really loved that after I left. I did that for I like to give back if I can. I did that for charity.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel, I used to say that to people that were out of work. If you go and do some voluntary work while you're looking for a job, you have no idea the satisfaction you are going to get. Plus, you're helping another person. So I totally believe in giving for no other reason, out of love, because I would love that to have, you know, I'd love people to help me. So I did a lot of that, Reiki healing. And then I went into hypnotherapy. I just was so fascinated with hypnotherapy. So I trained into that. And every time I did something like that, I were helping myself. I found another way to help myself and understand myself, how my brain's working. Why am I so upset? I mean, funnily enough, just I remember people saying to me, well, you've got such a lovely mum and dad. What are you even thinking about this other mother? What's the matter with you? And I thought, like I said, they've sort of saying to me, my life before that, it's got nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true. It's very, I need to be connected in some way. So eventually along the way, this is 22 years ago, I actually found information from the Adoption Society, and I found two sisters and a brother.
Did you?
The mother had died, so unfortunately she was the only person I was looking for, as in not a substitute mum. I had one, I didn't want another.
Yeah.
I was just I needed some, I don't know, needed some answers. A lot of adopted children will say there's a jigsaw, it's like a jigsaw, there's a piece missing.
Yeah.
And you're not looking for another mother, or you're not looking for a family. You're looking for some answers. Like what? Like I suppose the biggest answer is, why did you have put me up for adoption? Probably.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I found all that out, and I've been very friendly after lots of tough times with my sisters. All with good hearts, but they were as confused as I was because I had no idea. At least I had an idea I was adopted. I had no idea their mother had given me up. So I have to say, today we are sisters, friends. I love them dearly. They love me, and we are all so similar. So I'm at peace with all of that, which was my biggest problem. But there's lots of other stuff I'm learning.
Yeah.
And I said to you before about, don't blame anyone for anything. Stop it.
It's part of the journey, isn't it? It's part of the journey, and the journey is what shapes us. And it's funny because I say this to to people just now. It's like, what doesn't kill us makes it stronger. It's all these old things that our mums used to say. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, when you're saying, oh, it's hard, and it's that, actually just turn it in its head. You know, it happened as part of your journey. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself down, move on. It's a learning, and get to the next part.
I think if we saw it as a life learning, not school learning, and realize that everyone comes into our life for a reason. This is what I believe. Not everybody believes this, but if you've come into my life for a reason, to connect, to nourish each other, to help each other, to spread the word, that's great. We don't need to make this happen. I mean, we do need to go out there. I can't sit here and expect them to come like Amazon knocking on my door. I haven't ordered it. But if I go out there and I connect with you and other people and I'm just friendly, I'm going to bring in what I need. We'll always get what we need.
Yeah.
But we always learn from everybody, even though actually the worst ones, not to mention one, but I had a very difficult relationship with somebody and they were my biggest teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. So some of the words that will come out of that, then I do think your vibe attracts your tribe. I think when you put your energy out and people see that you're doing it with a good heart and they don't even know you, they see your vibe attracts your tribe. My friend will say people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I think, it's sometimes you just learn that's not, and you have to then think the emotional vampires, I have to take them out. And what we said, when I said to, when I do things with a good heart, if I know I've done it with a good heart and somebody reacts in a bad way, I just move on now. Before, until probably I got to 60, I used to say it didn't bother me. But now at 61, it really doesn't bother me because I don't know, tomorrow's not guaranteed. How many summers have we got? So we really need to do what we're going to do and do it now.
I think if we don't have to. I mean, I've got friends, I was saying before, that are not interested in self-development, self-help. It's blaming everybody and it's bitter and twisted and they're not well. Yeah. They're really not well. It's up to them. It depends if you believe in lots of lifetimes. Maybe they'll come back and learn it again. But it's about what we do and what makes us happy. I mean, I go for a walk. I'm very lucky to live by the beach, or near the New Forest. But the thing is, if you just get out there and breathe and stop, and this is it. I was a mum with 2 kids. My mum was needing me. I was working. I see my daughter doing it now. It's very, very tough to take some time out and say, I need a day. I need 15 to 20 minutes every day to stop.
Exactly. So where did your journey then go from Reiki? Where did you then get to? Because I know you said EFT is your passion, and I'd love to hear more about this part because I do think it is fascinating what you do.
So while I'm talking to you, I'm gonna tap, and what we do, or what the tapping does, it's emotional freedom technique. So we're trying to free ourselves, but before we free ourselves, we have to say what's not working. So it's not that it's wrong, but it's just not working for us. So when we tap around these meridian points, just around the top half of the body for a few seconds, there's no right and wrong way. We are going to say something like, let's just say, for instance, we're frightened of spiders. Let's do something like that. Lots of people are. I don't know why. So, and under your arms. So if I was frightened, I was dealing with somebody frightened of spiders, I would say something like, even though I'm terrified of spiders, I'm okay. And then I'd move to the next point. So all these spiders, they freak me out. I'm terrified. And then under the eye, these spiders are freaking out. I can't even be in the room with the spider. It's so scary. Under the nose, I have no idea why. Under the chin, but they freak me out. And the collarbone. So I really would like to stop being frightened, but I don't know how. Under the arm. I know they're only small. And top of the head. But I just would like to not be scared. And then we carry on doing more rounds and we'll say something like, I'm just going to tap anyway. I'll say something like, actually, they're not really that scary. I mean, I'm 500 times bigger than they are. I don't understand what's going on here. And you start rationalizing. You just naturally rationalize yourself. You know what? What if I got one of those spider catchers? That might help. You know, they're like an inch long, these spiders. You kind of say the reality of what the spider is and how on earth can they be frightening you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll say something like, you know what, I've done something like this before. I've overcome so many things before. I have overcome so much in my life. I'm sure I can overcome this fear of spiders. It's so ridiculous. I don't need to be frightened anymore. I'm just going to get myself one of those spider catchers and I'll be fine. I'm going to try it next time when I see a spider, and so on. And so you have rationalized on, you do it with me or you do it with somebody who knows what they're saying, just to help you start. But what you're doing is you're saying what the problem is. You're saying, you know what? Surely I've overcome something like this before somewhere. And then you say, I can do this. And what happens is, as you're tapping the meridian points, it's sending a message to your brain. Your brain is extremely clever. So let me liken it to a sat nav. When you're going out, you go for a journey and you're going this way, and all of a sudden that road on the left is a no entry. So the sat nav takes you somewhere else. Well, your brain, when you talk about this spider fear, your brain says, no, I'm not going there anymore. And it makes a new neuro pathway all on its own. And therefore, that's shut off now forever. Forever. It's gone. And you have to go a different way. So when the next time I'd say to you, how do you feel about spiders? You'd probably go, they're fine. What do you mean? I have people say to me, I don't know what you mean, after a session. So what I do is I write it down, or I'll record it and say, how frightened are you right now? So from 0 to 10, I'm 10, I'm terrified. Afterwards, how do you feel? I'm 1, I'm okay. That's one way, but also I write it down because I say, you were terrified and now you're not. I say it's like magic because I don't want to say it's like magic, but it's every time it happens and I help someone, I am amazed. I just think this is unreal.
Tell us, give us a testimonial then. Someone who had a really bad fear and what they overcame. What would that be?
Okay, so one lady came to me. Her mother-in-law had gifted a session, and I find that very difficult because that means she didn't really want to come herself, but she turned up. And at the door, she said, I don't know why I'm here. You can't help me. No one can help me. I said, look, come in, and if I can't help you, fine, let's just try. And she came in. Her fear was of lifts and trains, underground trains. Now, she had booked a holiday, and it was on the 17th floor. She didn't want to go on the holiday. And now she's telling me, as she gets in the lift, her 2 children are getting frightened and she just can't take it anymore. So I did the same sort of thing as I said to you, all these fear, you just bring the fear out, then you look at it and then you rationalize it. And at the end of it, so I said to her, she said, how do I know it's worked? I said, just close your eyes, hold your stomach. Tell me, how frightened are you of getting in a lift right now? She went, it's not really. And what about a train? And she went, no, it's all right. But really, how am I going to tell? I said, well, that's one way you've just done it. But the other way is you have to get on a train and you have to go in a lift. And I suggested she did it at the same time. So in London, in Covent Garden, they've got underground and a lift. I said, just do the whole lot. A week later, she phoned and said, you'll never guess where I am. Well, I knew where she was. I've been on a train, I've been in the lift, and thank you very much. I can't believe it.
Oh, there you go. Isn't it the power of the mind and the power of changing the mind?
But what was interesting is I would have said, I wouldn't have thought that would have worked because she wasn't bought in. She didn't buy into it. I was very skeptical and I thought, I wouldn't have been as confident as if you said to me, Jen, can you help me with something? That's a whole nother story. Because once you say to me, can you help me? 70% of what you want, you've got already, just by asking.
Yeah.
Because you're willing. She was totally unwilling. So even with an unwilling subject, which I hope I don't get too many of those, she was able to overcome her fear by her mind being changed. Really, she allowed her mind. Well, once you tap, you can't actually stop it. That's a thing. I don't think it goes, oh, you're not a believer. I think it just happens anyway.
Oh, amazing. And so tell me this, and so one of the things I notice when people start on a health journey, and like you said, you found Reiki, and then you keep learning, and I see this with lots of people just now. They start on something, and then it opens their mind to, there's something else, let's learn that. And what I see with Reiki, I actually haven't done Reiki. I've had Reiki done on me, but I've never actually, become a Reiki master or even done a course. But what I see from people is what they get back when they're actually doing the Reiki.
Oh, so definitely.
This learning that you do that and you see the benefit, that you think, I'm going to try that because I'll see the benefit in that as well.
Whenever I help somebody, either tapping, hypnotherapy, and now quantum touch, which is sending energy to people to help them, I get as much out of it as they do, which is absolutely wonderful. There's not many things you can do to get this, you are benefiting. So I'm benefiting myself. I don't do it for that reason, but isn't it nice that I benefit as well while you're benefiting? How amazing is that? And so it's about people being willing, as we said. Are you willing? Have you had enough? I mean, I'm very good when I've had enough. I've had enough. When I've had enough, there's no going back. You can't change my mind.
Yeah, me
but
too.
Everyone's different. You have to have had enough of smoking, giving up, or some sort of addiction, drink, whatever it is. You have to say to yourself, no.
Yeah.
No more. I don't know how to help myself, but no more. That's when I or you or other people in this health industry can help. It doesn't matter who you go to, just get some help from somebody you really warm to and trust.
Yeah.
And as I say, there's somebody for everyone. There's so many people out there, so much help, so much free help, so much paid help. There's so much help. Just find yourself somebody you like and get on with it.
Yeah.
Like you said.
I think this is a good thing now, Jennifer. A lot of especially private medical cover gives £1,000 of holistic cover. So if you say, okay, they're going to treat me that way, you can decide, no, I'm not going to be treated that way. I want to be holistically treated. The NHS maybe don't send you that route. And I'm not saying because there's good with NHS and there's bad with NHS. But what I'm saying is with the private, it's the same with Forever. My dad was put in medication, reacted badly. My dad could have been treated with Forever Living's products as part of private medical cover.
Wow. I had not, I had some inkling of that, but actually you've sparked something off in my head now. I hadn't thought of that people can get it another way.
Insurance companies are actually that doesn't actually. So my son works for an insurance company, which is Aegon. But what all the companies are doing, because of the mental health part now, they're actually offering mental health days. They're offering down days, duvet days, wellness days. And part of the wellness days, it's people like yourself going in and doing the treatments for people. So realizing, there's a pill can put an elastoplast over it, but you can actually try and get to the root of the cause.
And do more damage, sometimes do more damage, because they'll read the leaflet and it says there's 100 things here that it might happen to you that's nothing to do with what you've got, but additional.
Omeprazole is just one of the big things that you can say. Omeprazole, put an elastoplast, and you hear a nurse saying, take the omeprazole, you'll be able to eat whatever you want. And you think, sticking plaster, have you read all the cancer, all of the things that go with it?
I do think, though, I mean, the National Health saved my life. Somebody said, am I suing them because they thought it was their fault? I said, well, whether it was or not, they saved my life.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful to the NHS. But I will always look at natural first.
Yeah.
And I have helped myself in many ways. One funny way was when I had pains, really bad pains, and I've got a very high threshold, but this was unbearable. Went to the doctor. He said, "Oh, you've got gallstones, and they need to take them out." There's an 18-month waiting list. This was 15, 20 years ago. Well, while I was waiting, I did Reiki on myself, and then by the time that came up, I was fine.
I know. So
I'm glad there was a waiting list.
But you know, if they could actually just, because we did talk about it, there is the NHS, and yes, it definitely has a role to play.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
But there is a holistic part, and could they both meet?
Well, how about helping yourself? How about looking into things, not wacky things maybe, but looking into things like, I mean, mine, I've got no pills. There's no side effects except you get well. My side effect, like yours is, you will get well.
Yeah.
Your body will heal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people have been healed from cancer. People have been healed from the most ridiculous things that you'd never believe.
Yeah.
And so you, with your mindset, find someone who's got a holistic practice and give it a go.
Yeah, exactly. But there are so many people, and they are becoming really, really visible now. So you're looking at Joe Dispenza, you're looking at, I'm just listening to something of his this morning. Barbara O'Neill, she's coming to Scotland, really excited about that. These people are talking about plant. I mean, she's saying every household should have an aloe vera plant. These are, now, do you know, here's an example, right? Barbara O'Neill's big in Australia. Her husband has written a book about her, that Barbara O'Neill has been assassinated, because they tried to shut her up because they said that she was sharing benefits and discouraging people to go for cancer treatment.
Oh, I see.
In actual fact, she's looked it back, and she didn't say that, but press as usual, isn't it? They can do it whatever way they want. But if somebody's open-minded, one of my friends had cancer, and he told me he had 6 months to live, and he asked could I give him a box of products, and I did. And my friend lived 3 years, 6 months. Now, it wasn't just the box of products, because he tried everything. He did rebounder. He was doing, on the small trampoline. He was doing ionizing. He was doing juicing. If he read about
everything,
doing it, opened my mind. But make that readily available, instead of you get to the last stage where it's I've got 6 months to live.
I know. I think though, deep-seated beliefs. I remember my mum used to sort of think the doctors were gods.
Yeah.
Gods. I mean, you didn't even look into anything natural, but we have so much information. I cannot believe, the way we eat. So we're saying before, why are we eating things with numbers on them and things that you can't even read on the packet because they're so small? Why aren't you eating a salad? Why aren't you eating fresh fruit and vegetables? It's not, you don't need anyone to tell you that.
Yeah, exactly.
Why aren't we doing that?
It goes back to schools, isn't it? And I mean, they're talking about it. I go in and try and talk in primary schools as well. But if you think about that, if a mum gives a child £1, they actually can't even get a bag of fruit for £1, but they can get a huge bag of sweets.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know that's another subject, isn't it?
Oh,
huge.
It is another subject. Although, I love what the schools are doing. The initiative just now, kids are getting their meals. I was up at my stepdaughter's, and they're getting them, I think, to age 7, and they're actually quite good quality meals. So, that's great if we can start them off early.
Do you know what? I think this comes back, sort of bringing it back to what we were saying, is everyone is doing the best they can with what they've got. So if you are sitting on the couch ordering Deliveroo and you're overweight and you can't think straight and you're drinking, that's a choice you need to make. Have I had enough? Do I want to get fit? Is it worth it? That's a mindset. It's not mental health, it's a mindset. We all have a limit to what we do, or we just give up. So it is a choice. I mean, this is the hard thing, is make that. What choice are you making today so that it's going to affect your tomorrow?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think, actually, see the part, if I can just add on one part to that, Jennifer, I think we are what we eat. So I think when they eat the rubbish, their brain's affected anyway. So they won't make that choice to maybe think, okay, I'm going down, not even a health journey, just I'm going to look at, there's an alternative, or maybe I should try that or go down that way. Because I think, see, when you get that, and if you look at the sugar bloat, the sugar belly, the sugar head, even pain, I think they're on that path if they can just break that path.
So that sluggishness, that not willing to be bothered. I mean, I've been there. I've been in, I think last week there was something going on and I just didn't want to get out of bed. I did not want to get out of bed. I luckily didn't have a job I had to get out of bed for, because I would have had to go. But I just sat there and I just do some tapping. I mean, even that, just that kind of there is enough to calm your blood, or your blood pressure goes down, by the way. Your heart rate goes down. There's so many benefits.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself, why wouldn't I do that then?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the group this morning, I actually shared some more Mel Robbins, and it's a similar thing because Mel Robbins' book 54321, it's at the frontal cortex. You know, when you're lying in your bed and you think, I can't get up, she pictured the rocket and jumped. Now, that is fantastic what you've shared with us today, Jennifer. So tell us how people can actually work with you or find out more information, because you did say you had a YouTube channel where you actually share this, because it's fascinating. And I'm sure people, when they do need help, in fact, I'll find your YouTube and I'll actually post it in the group as well, because there will be somebody today who will have been the same as you, who won't have been able to get out of bed and thought, do you know, I can't get out of bed and I don't know. And as I said to you, unfortunately, I had my forced suicide funeral in November. So for me, it's absolutely huge that somebody who is maybe at, you know, a wee dark spot just gets a wee bit light.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, I was saying it's about when you're ready. So I'm here today and I said to you, when I'm ready, when you're ready, when all the people listening are ready, there's something here to choose to take or not.
Yeah.
So I just think it's really important to know that you can get help. There's lots of help. There's no right way. You can tap, you can do hypnotherapy, you can go for Reiki session, you can do so many things. Go for a walk. If you're fed up, go for a walk and breathe the fresh air and look at the trees. And that is a meditation in itself. You know, there's all these things about I haven't got time. You have got time. You have to make time for yourself if you choose. Everything is a choice. So I hope today's been of some help, even by sharing my story, because we've all got a story and we've all got pain and we've all got hurt and we've all been let down and things haven't worked out for us. But if we can see it a different way, it's the same life, but you're looking at it to the right instead of the left. Instead of the negative, you're looking at the positive. But it doesn't mean you're not going to get days when you go and get out of bed. It's fine. You know, nothing is wrong. You don't need fixing. You just need to see things in a different way.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's how we react to things, isn't it, that causes our issues. And if we can just, I mean, some people will say, what's success? And I'll say success is just picking yourself up one more time after a fall and getting back on the horse, because life is tough. And if we just keep pushing in whatever way.
I just think, just to add on to that, you know, we were taught a lot when we were younger, and whatever generation we were brought up in, our parents wanted to get the best for us and do the best, or not. We might have been brought up without our parents in some way. However, we've always got a choice. That's the thing to remember. We can choose to go down a rabbit hole, and we've all done it, but then choose to come back up. Or sometimes, if you're really strong, don't go down. Just do something lovely for yourself. Go and have a cup of tea. Go for a walk. Stop and do something. Stop worrying and do something nice.
Yeah.
That's a little start. It's like a 10-minute thing. Try every day to do another 5 minutes. It's, you know, this may not be for people with very bad mental health issues. I don't say that anybody with mental health issues should even try tapping. If it's really a bad, something bad, do not do it. But for anybody who's just struggling, normal day, normal life, getting a bit fed up, you know, there's depression and depression. If it's just our kind of, but I can function normally, then this is a great way to learn how to help yourself.
Okay, amazing. I am going to share your link in here and get people to reach out. I'm going to tag a couple of people that I think will be really good connections for you as well.
That's really kind. And I will be sending you the quantum touch after the session.
Okay, perfect. I am going to exit this, and thank you again.
Oh, thank you. Should we just keep in touch, because I think we've got lots to offer each other.
Oh, for sure.